Hey everybody, my name is Ixie. I'm a composer, a piano player, and a lover of music, especially kind of weird indie stuff. I thought that it would be cool to start a series where every week on Sunday I publish a video where I'm just gonna share a few or 5 songs, maybe from a particular genre or a particular artist, that I just love. It doesn't mean I'm an expert on the songs or that I know all about how they were made, but I just think they're so beautiful or so memorable, and I want more people to hear them. Now, this video is not about a small indie artist. It's about Thom Yorke. Every time Thom Yorke is involved in something, I go, I love that. There's just something about the way he hears things and how it comes out that just seems to resonate so deeply with me. The first one I want to play for you is called This. It's Mode Selector and Thom Yorke collaborating. Mode Selector is a electronica duo from Berlin. They've been around since the mid-90s, and I'm not super familiar with their work outside of this single that they released with Thom Yorke, but there's actually a B-side on the single, and I'm going to play that for you too. But first, here's This. Now, this sounds a little unusual, and one of the reasons is because Thom Yorke's vocals are chopped, and they're literally called vocal chops. So this is a way of like rearranging segments of vocals into new melodies. Check it out. Pick out him saying this, which is probably where the name came from. You can tell he's speaking English, but you don't know what he's saying. So I just think that's a cool experience, and I think it's strange to hear the human voice arranged like that. I think it's just a regular time signature, but something about it feels off. Part of that is because the drum groove itself has a lot of syncopation in it. So a lot of dance grooves just go 4 on the floor kick. This is sporadic feeling, like you're constantly tripping over yourself because of how many of these hallmark beats are getting missed by the accents, like the snares especially. So listen to that part with that in mind. I just like drum beats that are a little bit different. It keeps my ear really engaged and makes my body more engaged too, right? Because I'm like trying to feel it, but it's like a little bit unusual to sync up to. The bass is fantastic. This first line with the bass. Wow, I love that kind of wow. And it does it every time before it goes to the next note. So it goes. I love this little da, da. That's called a half step, and it creates this feeling of chromaticism, which is a sort of disorienting, dissonant conflict sound. Feels so tense, and then it kind of gets relieved. And if you know me, then that is the flat 6. The love of my life. So everything's better with that note. Then it turns to a sort of Phrygian sound, or goes da, da. That's when you go up just a half step to the next chord from your home bass, and you play a major chord. So that creates a lot of mysterious, kind of dark qualities. It's just a really cool song. I hope you'll check it out. And if you liked it, then I highly recommend listening to the B-side, which is called All Buttons In. It's only 2 minutes long, and it's just Thom Yorke's vocals. So if you listen to this with headphones, eyes closed in the dark, I pretty much guarantee you're going to have some kind of experience. Check it out. Next up is a song in the same key, actually. It's called Beautiful People by Mark Pritchard and Thom Yorke. This came out in 2016. I'm not sure if it was before or after Moon-Shaped Pool, but it's one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and it features a flute sample. I don't know what kind of flute it is. I can't tell if it's like a wooden flute or if it's like a silver flute that you hear in orchestras. And these gorgeous sort of muted, stabby but gentle synth chords have like a life of their own throughout the song. They kind of blossom open for like a few moments and then they close up again. It just feels biological somehow. One of the things I like about it is the chord progression. And I actually figured this out prior to making this video so I could play it for you. That by itself is so powerful. And then you add in the beautiful flute samples. Rhythm of the flutes doesn't really feel in time either. So they're just kind of textures, and it's very visual, very evocative. The drum groove is so interesting. I think the drum groove is really not the thing keeping time. I think it's just adding texture, dynamics, accents, interest. I think what's keeping time is the synth chords. Because if you listen to when the drum groove first comes in, it's in a loop that's in 3, but the song is in 4. So it's not really helping define the structure of the song. It's Thom and those synth chords that are doing that. So it's very disorienting for a little while. But then it all kind of comes together. Thom never ceases to move me with his beautiful melodies. And the way that Mark Pritchard manipulated his vocals is also pretty interesting. Last thing I want to show you about the song is just how his vocal melody interacts with these beautiful chords, because check this out. So let's look at the part where he's singing higher. This is what's known as an add 9. All you need to know is that it makes everything 50 times more beautiful and emotionally potent, at least to me, because it adds tension to a major or minor chord that wasn't there before. So it's like a squeeze or a hug or something that's maybe not pleasant, right? It doesn't always have to be a squeeze or a hug. Sometimes it's pain. It's brushing past someone that you used to know better. It's so when the light goes out, when the light goes out. It gets a little bit bluesy right there. And what's that? This chord is already really beautiful and tense, but then he adds more tension to it. And then this is so beautiful. Another one of those add 9 chords. So, I just really appreciate the way he maneuvers harmony. I mean, I think he's such an incredible rhythm guitarist, and the harmony he comes up with is amazing. But then you give him some other person's harmony and he just makes gold out of it. So thank you, Thom, for the beautiful harmony. Thank you for all the tears. By the way, Beautiful People has a beautiful music video. Please check it out. Next is an Atoms for Peace song. And this is 4 members. It's Thom Yorke and Flea, the bassist from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and 2 other members. I may be mispronouncing their names. Joey Weroniker, and Mauro Rafosco. Nigel Godrich produced the album. So I would consider him definitely like a part of this band. The song that I'm talking about is Ingenue. Ingenue also has a music video, which some people think reminds them of Lotus Flower's music video from The King of Limbs. And it's Thom Yorke and a woman who are dressed exactly the same way with the same hairstyle, dancing in kind of contemporary interpretive style. One of my favorite things about this song is the synth lead. It has sort of this feeling like it's out of time. And the upper part of it, which really sticks out, seems to shift a bit in when it comes in. So the da-da-da-da, those 3 notes, you're going to hear them come back every phrase, but they're kind of like in a slightly different spot every other time or so. It's really kind of cool. You can recognize it. It's so familiar, but it's not where it used to be. So the context keeps changing a little bit. But check this out. Music just can't get better than this to me. Once again, really kind of disorienting, strange, sort of jolting drum groove that doesn't really feel like it's helping you. It feels like it's working against you. You have to work to listen to this song. You know, these songs make you feel and they make you think. One of the things that's cool about that synth lead I was talking about is that the upper notes, da 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 da, that sounds like a melody that kind of comes in between Thom's phrases or on top of his phrases. But then there's all these lower notes that provide the bass line. So this thing is providing like the whole harmonic structure for the song, which is pretty incredible for a single line to do. One of the prettiest parts of the song is the space between Thom's voice and the bottom synth when it goes da 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 da. This interval is called a tenth, or you can think of it as a very spread out third. Interesting vocal production here. Thom's ghostly ooze. Another thing about this drum beat that's so interesting is that it sounds almost like a water dropping, but it's been, sampled, and so it's kind of being played different pitches, a little bit tonal. It's a really interesting sound. It's mostly in the right here. But listen to what happens when Thom's vocal melody goes up. It's really, really nice. Provides this sort of, because this is da, 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 is very harmonious. That's an interval that makes us feel like everything's okay. Da, 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 da. But then the second time, that's so beautiful. I think deep down, it's like almost hoping that when he goes to the top, it's going to create harmony and resolution, a feeling of like completeness, like the period at the end of the sentence. But instead, he leaves you in this very tense spot. Okay, moving on to a track from a long time ago, from the year 2000. This Mess We're In, which is a collaboration between PJ Harvey and Thom Yorke. And apparently, PJ Harvey kind of wrote the chords and the harmony, sent it to Thom Yorke, but she had him in mind when she was writing it. Sent it to Thom Yorke, and then he added vocals, and then I think she added hers after. So it's mostly Thom singing, but she kind of interjects. I don't know how I found this song, but I'm pretty sure I got this from LimeWire. Remember LimeWire? Yeah. And I was like, wow, is that the guy from Radiohead? And anyway, it was just such a cool song. It's more of a rock song than any of these. But it's, once again, very beautiful. And the interplay between Thom and PJ Harvey is really haunting. Check it out.
I'm in New York, no need for words now. We sit in silence, you look me in the eye directly. You met me, I think it's Wednesday, the evening, the mess we're in, and oh, the city sunset over me.
Like how he feels stuck in this one spot. Da, 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 da. It's like he just can't leave, but he starts it over whenever he's done with the last thing. So it's not like he's waiting. It's just sort of this run-on sentence of the same thing over and over again. It just feels like he's setting this scene for us. I felt like I could see the room that they were in, so very descriptive. And it felt like he was describing a single moment of like stillness. It just felt like this like one moment. They're just like looking at each other. And I could like envision the way the apartment looked and the way the city looked and everything. It was just really evocative. And then the chorus is so gorgeous. Then he breaks out of this little cage, this melodic cage, goes into his falsetto and just sings ah, right? And it feels like pain finally just coming out, like catharsis. But he's still ultimately stuck, right? He never actually gets what he's looking for. This mess we're in, right? Sort of a cycle. And then she sings "The City Sunset Over Me." One of the things that makes Thom's melody so beautiful is that while this lick is all in the A minor pentatonic scale, he's singing a minor, which has 2 more notes than the pentatonic scale, and he's leaning on one of those missing notes, and it is the 9th, which I talked about earlier, and it's so sad. That one possible dream. And the other note he's leaning on is the minor 3rd, so that's the note that makes the scale sound minor. So just very heavy sound to his melody. Part of also why I think it feels very stuck. But then there's like this nice shift in the harmony. City sunset over me. And if you know, it's a flat 6 chord. City sunset over me. And that's a big jump, so his voice has to break. That fall down is always so emotional, right? It just feels like he's like trying to make progress, and it just keeps coming back to the same argument, right? Or the same problem. And there's another part where he sings a line and she speaks it right after him. It's just kind of an interesting, it sounds very cinematic. Next one I want to talk about definitely left an impression on me. This is from Thom Yorke's album, The Eraser. I do like the song The Eraser, but the one that really jumped out was Black Swan. And I think that's one of the singles. Right off the bat, things I love about this track, the groove is phenomenal. It's mixed so well. Listen to it with headphones. You're going to be wowed. And the harmony is absolutely beautiful. It's also in a minor key, and the guitar and bass are doing this little dance in tenths, which we talked about when we were listening to Ingenue. So listen for that sound. So apparently this drum groove was sampled from some recordings that Radiohead did in 2000, I think, 2001. So it's the drummer, Phil Selway, and I think it's Thom playing guitar, but they're playing together, and the sample is from, I think, that one session. So that's interesting. But I just remember hearing that drum beat and being like, oh man, that sounds great. Like that cross stick, the snare is so satisfying. Has that ever happened to you? You hear a sound in music that makes you like it's not about the musicality of it. It's just the actual sound of it makes you feel good, you know? So that's what I get from that. It's like tasty somehow. And the snares are like itching, scratching on either side. Or it's not snares, sorry. The hi-hats are like scratching on either side at your brain. Great kick. It's just a fantastic groove. I could listen to just the groove probably and not get bored. So yeah, that's great. But then this harmony. So first of all, the bass is so cool. We got then it goes da, da. Friggin' love that. Huge jump. And when it goes up high, it's like it's struggling. Right? I just love that sound. I don't know. Tell me if you play bass, what's happening there? It feels like it's slipping. It feels like your mind is slipping. Then the guitar is playing in parallel tenths for the most part. So you got I think they play in unison here. Ooh, this is actually in a scale called Dorian, which is like minor, but one of the notes is a little higher. It's a major note. So it brings in some, I think, enchantment to the sound. So instead of, which is serious. Last thing I'll say about this song that I love is that high-pitched synth. It's so glassy, and it's just it has that quality that you hear in Radiohead's music, usually courtesy of Johnny Greenwood with his theremins and Ond Martineau and synths, kind of just like a little high-pitched kind of voice with vibrato. So this just has that feeling. It's very kind of unsettling almost and beautiful, but I think this song would not quite have the sound it does without that. And the last one I'm going to talk about today is Suspirium, which is a piano and vocal track from the soundtrack to the remake of Suspiria that Thom Yorke did. And I have to admit, I have not heard the rest of the score. I've only heard this one track. My community exposed me to this track, and I've just had it in my head ever since. I figured out how to play it on piano. I'll show you. It's really kind of interesting and weird. I think I just like everything that Thom Yorke does. I just like the way his brain works so much.
This is a waltz thinking about our bodies, what they mean for our salvation. With only the clothes that we stand up in, just the ground on which we stand. Is the darkness ours to take? Bathed in lightness, bathed in heat. All spinning. Here now,
Stop it. The flute.
dancing behind the wall.
So this is apparently a horror movie. Interesting, huh? So. So he's got these major and minor chords, and then on the left hand, he's playing the same rhythm, but he's playing the power chord, so root fifth octave. That's a ninth chord, in case you were wondering. See, it's major, but then at the ninth, which is a whole step from the root. Back to A. I think, yeah. Then sometimes C sharp major. C sharp minor, F major, A major. This is a sound called mode mixture, where you combine chords that come from the major key with chords that come from the minor key. It's just so incredibly beautiful. And then the chorus, oh God. G sharp minor to A major to G sharp minor to F sharp minor to C sharp minor. Exquisite song. I know I missed a ton, so in the comments, please do leave your favorite Thom Yorke tracks. I didn't include the smile in this because then the video would be way, way too long. But just so you know, I love the smile. I love that record. Listen to it incessantly for like 3 weeks straight. I actually got to see him live once at the Day for Night Festival in Houston in 2017. And it was in this kind of small, very densely packed room, and it was storming outside, but it was a really cool show. It was really cool, and he did his cool dancing. So anyway, I'm a huge fan. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe and check out more of my videos in this series that are coming. Definitely more indie artists are on the way. I listen to a ton of dance music, so I'm definitely going to be having some stuff like John Hopkins, Lorne. And if you want to support me and my channel and growing, you can check out my Patreon or just like the video, subscribe, share, turn on notifications, etc. And I hope you will join me later this evening for a live stream where I'm going to be going over some ear training. So maybe I'll see you then.